Welcome back to day number 6. We're going to read Job 10, 11, 12, and 13 today. I loathe my very life, therefore I will give free rein to my complaint, and speak out in the bitterness of my soul. I say to God, do not declare me guilty, but tell me what charges you have against me. Does it please you to oppress me, to spurn the work of your hands, while you smile on the plans of the wicked? Do you have eyes of flesh? Do you see as a mortal sees? Are your days like those of a mortal, or your years like those of a strong man, that you must search out my faults and probe after my sin? Though you know I am not guilty, and that no one can rescue me from your hand. Your hands shaped me and made me. Will you now turn and destroy me? Remember that you molded me like clay. Will you now turn me to dust again? Did you not pour me out like milk and curdle me like cheese, clothe me with the skin and flesh, and knit me together with bones and sinews? You gave me life and showed me kindness, and in your providence watched over my spirit. But this is what you concealed in your heart. And I know that this was in your mind. If I sinned, you would be watching me, and would not let my offense go unpunished. If I am guilty, woe to me. If I am innocent, I cannot lift my head, for I am full of shame and drowned in my affliction. If I hold my head high, you stalk me like a lion, and again display your awesome power against me. You bring new witnesses against me, and increase your anger toward me. Your forces come against me, wave upon wave. Why then did you bring me out of the womb? I wish I had died before any eye saw me. If only I had never come into being, or had been carried straight from the womb to the grave. Are not my few days almost over? Turn away from me so I can have a moment's joy, before I go to the place of no return, to the land of gloom and utter darkness, to the land of the deepest night, of utter darkness and disorder, where even the light is like darkness.
Zophar. Then Zophar the Naamathite replied, are all these words to go unanswered? Is this talker to be vindicated? Will your idle talk reduce others to silence? Will no one rebuke you when you mock? You say to God, my beliefs are flawless and I am pure in your sight. Oh, how I wish that God would speak, that he would open his lips against you and disclose to you the secrets of wisdom, for true wisdom has two sides. Know this. God has even forgotten some of your sin. Can you fathom the mysteries of God? Can you probe the limits of the Almighty? They are higher than the heavens above. What can you do? They are deeper than the depths below. What can you know? Their measure is longer than the earth and wider than the sea. If he comes along and confines you in prison and convenes a court, who can oppose him? Surely he recognizes deceivers. And when he sees evil, does he not take note? But the witless can no more become wise than a wild donkey's colt can be born human. Yet, if you devote your heart to him and stretch out your hands to him, if you put away the sin that is in your hand and allow no evil to dwell in your tent, then, free of fault, you will lift up your face. You will stand firm and without fear. You will surely forget your trouble, recalling it only as waters gone by. Life will be brighter than noonday, and darkness will become like morning. You will be secure because there is hope, and you will look about you and take your rest in safety. You will lie down with no one to make you afraid, and many will court your favor. But the eyes of the wicked will fail, and escape will elude them. Their hope will become a dying gasp.
Chapter 12. Then Job replied, doubtless you are the only people who matter, and wisdom will die with you. But I have a mind as well as you. I am not inferior to you. Who does not know all these things? I have become a laughingstock to my friends. Though I called on God and he answered, a mere laughingstock, though righteous and blameless. Those who are at ease have contempt for misfortune. As the fate of those whose feet are slipping, the tents of marauders are undisturbed. And those who provoke God are secure, those God has in his hand. But ask the animals, and they will teach you, or the birds in the sky, and they will tell you, or speak to the earth, and it will teach you, or let the fish in the sea inform you. Which of all these does not know that the hand of the Lord has done this. In his hands is the life of every creature, and the breath of all mankind. Does not the ear test words as the tongue tastes food? Is not wisdom found among the aged? Does not long life bring understanding? To God belong wisdom and power. Counsel and understanding are his. What he tears down cannot be rebuilt. Those he imprisons cannot be released. If he holds back the waters, there is drought. If he lets them loose, they devastate the land. To him belongs strength and insight. Both deceived and deceiver are his. He leads rulers away stripped and makes fools of judges. He takes off shackles put on by kings and ties the loincloth around the waist. He leads priests away stripped and overthrows officials long established. He silences the lips of trusted advisors and takes away the discernments of elders. He pours contempt on nobles and disarms the mighty. He reveals the deep things of darkness and brings utter darkness into the light. He makes nations great and destroys them. He enlarges them and disperses them. He deprives the leaders of the earth of their reason. He makes them wander in a trackless waste. They grope in darkness with no light. He makes them stagger like drunkards.
Job 13. My eyes have seen all this. My ears have heard and understood it. What you know, I also know. I'm not inferior to you, but I desire to speak to the Almighty and to argue my case with God. You, however, smear me with lies. You are worthless physicians, all of you. If only you would be altogether silent. For you, that would be wisdom. Hear now my argument. Listen to the pleas of my lips. Will you speak wickedly on God's behalf? Will you speak deceitfully for him? Will you show him partiality? Will you argue the case for God? Would it turn out well if he examined you? Could you deceive him as you might deceive a mortal? He would surely call you to account if you secretly showed partiality. Would not his splendor terrify you? Would not the dread of him fall on you? Your maxims are proverbs of ashes. Your defenses are defenses of clay. Keep silent and let me speak. Then let come to me what may. Why do I put myself in jeopardy and take my life in my hands? Though he slay me, yet I will hope in him. I will surely defend my ways to his face. Indeed, this will turn out for my deliverance, for no godless person would dare come before him. Listen carefully to what I say. Let my words ring in your ears. Now that I have prepared my case, I know I will be vindicated. Can anyone bring charges against me? If so, I will be silent and die. Only grant me these two things, God, and then I will not hide from you. Withdraw your hand far from me and stop frightening me with your terrors. Then summon me and I will answer, or let me speak and you reply to me. How many wrongs and sins have I committed? Show me my offense. Show me my offense and my sin. Why do you hide your face and consider me your enemy? Will you torment a wind-blown leaf? Will you chase after dry chaff? For you write down bitter things against me and make me reap the sins of my youth. You fasten my feet in shackles. You keep close watch on all my paths by putting marks on the soles of my feet. So man wastes away like something rotten, like a garment eaten by moths.
Wow. Interesting.
Yeah.
You know, the one thing that stood out to me as we read that is Job's confidence in God.
Yeah.
You know, he was being accused by his friends,
Yeah.
you know, of all we talked about that yesterday. But he stood his ground because he was confident in God.
Yeah.
He knew he was still a sinner. He knew he made mistakes and faults, but he was trying to wrestle through all that with God.
Yeah. That's what I picked up too. I thought, first of all, there's his friends who were sitting in front of him, and we read it quite strongly, but again, he was very weak, in a lot of pain at this point, so I'm sure the words wouldn't have been coming out as strongly as how we're reading it. It would have been very weakly said.
Sure.
You know, with as much energy as he could muster. And that's what I also saw. The same thing that you pointed out was that he had a lot of confidence. He's like, nah, I'm going to put my case before God. I know God's going to, he just trusted God. He had a relationship with God. He knew that God knew him.
Yeah.
He knew God, and he knew that God knew him.
True.
He's like, you know what? This is my guy. He's not going to leave me.
Yeah.
And I think for me, it shows his relationship that he had with God.
Yeah.
But also it's showing the type of relationship that we need to have. You know, sometimes we get gaslit. People will say something and just try to make us believe that we're going crazy.
You know, it's funny. It's funny you say that, because I was thinking that in our modern religious world today, there's a lot of people saying a lot of things that might not necessarily be in the Bible. And that's pretty frightening.
Right.
When people stand up and accuse based on what they think is in the Bible, that's a scary road to go down. That would put you in the category of Job's friends.
Right.
But he had confidence because he walked with God. You know, there's a Hebrew word. He had chutzpah. He was willing to wrestle with God. And I think that's what God is looking for in us, is a relationship where we're not afraid to be real.
Yeah. I think too, you know, when you are walking with God and you have a clear conscience, you just feel like, you know, people can say whatever they want about me. They can accuse me of whatever they want. But I know me. I know what I've done or haven't done. God sees everything. And so when we're confident, when we've been living a righteous life, not that we're all perfect and we can do everything perfectly, but when we have acknowledged what we've done wrong, we've, you know, confessed our sins, we've asked for forgiveness, you know, we're in a righteous relationship with God, then you feel a lot of confidence. Yeah. And so people can bring things to you and accuse you of things falsely, but you can stand there, you know, confidently like, nah, that's not true. You know?
It's true when you're open like that.
Yeah.
And you're open with your life, and you're real and honest with yourself, but also your partner, your friends, and you have people in your life. We don't have to fear anything. Yeah. You know, there's no guilt in that because we've overcome.
Yeah, true. Like you said, when there's openness, when you've been open and vulnerable, and there's just basically nothing that you've hidden. Yeah. And so, you know, there isn't anything that anybody can hold, like kind of accuse you of, because it's like, well, actually, I haven't hidden anything. You can feel so confident. Yeah. You know, and I think that you lose confidence when you are hiding things. When you know, oh, what if they find out? What if they find out about this? What if they find out about that? Yeah. You know, we lose a lot of confidence. And again, it comes back to how God just wants us to live a fulfilled life. If we lack confidence, if we get insecure, again, it's affecting our life. It's affecting the joy that we can have. It's affecting the fulfillment that we can have. True. Again, it's protection from God.
When you walk with God like Job did, there's so much confidence in that. And so when people, like you said, try to gaslight you for whatever reason is or motive that's behind that, if it's a false belief system or a false doctrine, it's so easy to pick up when you're walking with God, because you can see the good from the wrong.
Very true. It's like counterfeit money, right? Yeah. I heard that they train counterfeiters. No, not counterfeiters. The people who are trying to figure out if something is counterfeit. Yeah. So counterfeit finders, I guess, they actually train them by having them really thoroughly understand and see what the correct dollar bill or bill is. Yes. So they can very quickly and easily spot whatever is false.
Yeah. As soon as they touch it, they know it's false. Yeah. Because they study the true bill, the real bill. And so when we're walking with God, it's so easy to see the truth, even when someone tries to push an opinion or a false doctrine towards you. So
it's very clear.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thanks for joining us. We'll see you again tomorrow.